Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be doing a full-on brand review, hits and misses of the new Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez. Now, this is actually a beauty brand I was pretty excited for. Ultimately, I wasn't sure if it was going to do well or not because some celebrity lines are not great and some are actually really, really good. So this was one I had some high hopes for, but of course we have some really, really nice products that I think you could definitely check out, invest in, and love, and some that I think you could totally skip on. They're just really, really unfortunate misses, and definitely stay away from those ones. So if you guys want to know all of my thoughts on these products that I purchased myself, this is not a PR review or anything like that, then just stay tuned. All right, so let's get right on into this video. We do have some hits and some misses. I like to kind of disperse them a little bit. So I'm gonna start with a positive note, and that is a hit. Now this is actually the lip product I am wearing today. This is the Lip Souffle Matte Lipstick, and this is actually a product I didn't think I would like because of the fact that I'm not really a matte lipstick kind of girl. That is just something to be totally honest with. It's not my favorite. I do like creamy finishes, creamy satin finishes. I just like that comfortability, and I do find that sometimes mattes can be overly drying on my lips and just really emphasize lines, get all dried out and look kind of like they're collecting. I don't know, you know what I mean. It's not a good look, and I often get that from really drying matte lipsticks. But this is something that is very, very interesting. It got me to the point that I really wanted to share it with you guys and sing its praises because not often do I find a matte lip product that I'm this obsessed over. So this actually has a doe foot applicator. It's kind of like a flattened in the center doe foot applicator, so it's a little bit different. You can kind of see that, how there's some flattened edges on each side. And then you've got that corner piece to really get into the corner of the lip or to the Cupid's bow. It's really nice and user-friendly that way. The packaging of this though is a really beautiful soft matte. It's very, very soft to the touch, and the packaging is very clean. It's very, very nice. I do love the gold font on this lipstick also. This is enough for me to purchase another shade for sure because this one has kind of like a lip stain component to it. It has very, very long-lasting capabilities. This one did a great job of staying put despite like daily activity, so I really, really liked that. It can also be layered, and it isn't quite, I don't know, I guess it is sort of like a liquid lipstick, but it doesn't fully set down. It has more of like a creamy consistency, like ultra smoothing. It's just really, really nice. It doesn't collect into lip lines or anything. And I just like how the stain dissipates ever so naturally throughout the day. You don't have like a ring of color around your lips. It seems to be fairly consistent throughout the application process, and then it fades consistently also. Kind of almost resembles like a powdered matte finish or a powdered matte look. It's just really, really nice and soft. There's one more shade that I'm after, and that is the Dusty Mauve shade. So this is a really nice bright color, but I think the Dusty Mauve will be a little bit more everyday friendly for me, but very, very nice. Definitely a hit. Now let's talk about my first miss, and that is the Always an Optimist Illuminating Primer, and just by the name you can tell that it's got some illuminating factors to it. This reminds me of actually another product I have, which is the Glossier Future Dew. So it has some similarities in it for sure. Glossier being that it is more of a pink undertone, whereas this one definitely is brighter, has a white undertone to it, so it's incredibly brightening. And this is something that worn under all of your makeup, it looks very, very bright, almost like a disco ball. That is something that the Future Dew can do for you if you put too much. This can be used as a liquid highlight or as a base to kind of provide that illumination, but because of the pink undertone, I feel like it gives you a little bit more freedom to put a little bit more on the skin and not make it look so blinding. But this one has kind of like a disco ball effect. It just has a very strong presence underneath the foundation where it changes the entire look and makes you look quite highlighted, like almost all over. So this is actually best used as a liquid highlight, if I'm honest. It is going to be more subtle, of course, but putting this on the high points of the cheek is a heck of a lot better than all over the face. So I wouldn't prime my entire face with this, and that's essentially actually what this role of the product is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a face primer all over. And if you go even lighter yet, then I'm kind of wondering what's the point of priming your face if you're putting such a little bit amount on your skin. Like, why bother really? Like, it doesn't have anything else to it. It gives a slight moisturizing feeling, but otherwise, this is actually probably what the liquid highlight should have been, if I'm honest, because I know she's kind of going for a more subtle liquid highlight in her collection. And we're going to talk about the liquid highlight soon, but this one was probably what she should have done for that. So while we're talking about liquid highlights and highlighting, let's talk about the next mist, which is the liquid highlighter from Rare Beauty. This is the Positive Light Liquid Luminizer. The shade that I have is Enlighten, so it is more of like a pearly kind of white highlighter. One thing that I do really like about Selena Gomez is that she is a mental health advocate. She has a lot of very positive, uplifting branding when it comes to her products. They all have positive messaging, which I really appreciate. And it does pain me to have some of her products be misses because I do admire her. I love her music and her creativity. So it's a little bit tough to say that certain things are misses, but I do want to keep obviously everything very honest on my channel. And even though I love her, some of her products just didn't work out for me. So this one is the next one that didn't work out for me. This is the liquid highlight, like I said. This one blends into nothing on the skin. It's very light and subtle, but you do have to be careful with how you're blending it. If you overly blend, it just dissipates. It's the weirdest thing. So then I found that when that was happening, I had to keep putting more and more layers on. As soon as that happened, then the foundation underneath started to break apart. This one also translates a little bit chunky when you apply it to the skin. So it's something that adds a little bit more illumination to certain sides versus others because you've got like a chunkiness component to it. So it's not an evenly smooth application. It does make it a tad more challenging, but the fact is if you can nail it, which I did, I was able to get the technique down so I couldn't overly blend it or anything. Even then, it's incredibly subtle. So this is something that will be more of a preference thing for you. If you do like a very subtle highlight, this might be your favorite product. Obviously, this worked way better when I didn't have foundation on. So I found that when I had just bare skin and I was just testing it out that way, it was a lot better. This is a doe foot also, and it has kind of like another flat edge to it. So you can kind of see it's a very short doe foot. The primer is actually a pump. I forgot to show you guys that. Let me just quickly show you. So this one is the primer and it is a pump. This one is a doe foot product, which makes applying it really easy, but because of all of the cons surrounding it, it's just not something that I would repurchase, nor would I suggest you to try out, so this is my second miss. Now let's get on a more positive note. Let's talk about this foundation, which I absolutely love. This is the Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation from Rare Beauty, and the shade that I have is 210N. This is actually, to me, I think just a smidge too deep for my skin. I'm wearing it today, and it is pretty close, so let me know your thoughts down below. But this is a gorgeous natural foundation. I will say that if I'm very picky, it's a natural finish with a teeny bit like heading into the matte section, just a teeny bit. So when you're thinking about a natural finish, some foundations will lean a certain way, like a little bit lean matte or a little bit lean dewy, and I prefer a lean dewy personally. But this is a beautiful foundation that I barely notice the fact that it's a lean matte. I bet no other reviewer is describing it like this, but figured I would let you guys know that if you have more of a tendency to a certain edge, just know that this one does lean slightly matte. This too, though, has a doe foot applicator, which I do like. The only thing is that you have to be careful when you put it directly on your skin. You're going to be passing the bacteria back and forth from your skin and then put it back into the bottle. So try not to put it directly on the skin, but it's a huge tendency to do so because of the fact of how easy it is for that. But with regards to germs, you guys know I'm a bit of a germaphobe. That's not good. So I did apply it to the back of my hand, which I washed beforehand, and hopefully I will continue to remember to do that. This is a true medium coverage. It can definitely be built up also to the point where you can have some medium to full coverage with regards to redness or spots or things like that. This does last the test of time, which I like. It's a beautiful finish on the skin that definitely lasts at least 12 hours for me. I'm pretty impressed with the fact that this is a new beauty line and she has a really strong shade range. It's really sad that I have to say that because there are some new launches, like some new beauty brands that launch with like 6 shades. It's the most annoying. So the fact that she actually did that goes to show that she's paying attention. So I do love the fact that her shade range has started out very, very strong. And overall, I'm finding that I'm picking this up and using it a ton. So even after testing it and realizing that I love it and it's kind of past all of my like preferences and stuff like that. I mean, if I'm picky, I wish it was like slightly dewier, but the fact is I am picking it up and using it and liking the finish of it. So it goes to show that it is a definite hit in my books. All right, let's talk about the next miss, which is very, very interesting. This is another lip product from her line, and this is the With Gratitude Dewy Lip Balm. Now, this is interesting because it's kind of advertised as a lip balm that has a tint of color. To me, this is more than a tint of color. It is very, very pigmented for a slight tint, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's really, really light and very thin, so it doesn't set down at all. So I found that it was so loosely thin on top of the lips that I was terrified it was going to smear because of how easy it was to do that. This one does not ever set down, but yet gathers into lip lines. It's so weird. Even after a few minutes of wear, I already see separation from where it's gathered into like lip crevices and creases and stuff like that. So I found the urge to reapply even after a few minutes. So you're gonna go through this thing like crazy. Plus it's going to sit so lightly on top of the lips. It's not going to be this smudge proof, no budging type product. It's definitely something that will smear very, very easily. The last thing about this, the taste. You guys, it tastes like crap. I hate to say that. Oh, but it literally tastes like plastic with sunscreen, with, I don't know, but it's just repulsive. And I mean, fun fact, we do eat a little bit of our lipstick throughout the day. Obviously not just taking a chomp out of this thing, but it does obviously hit our food or straws or whatever. Some of it does go in the mouth. This stuff, as soon as, I didn't even notice it because I didn't even put it to a drink test or to a food test because I knew like this thing is so thin it's never going to stay put. But when I removed it and then I went like that with my lips, I tasted it and I was like, this tastes so bad. And then I went to the reviews on Sephora, and you guys, I'm not the only one. There's so many people saying it tastes like crap. This is something that unfortunately is a huge, huge miss, and it breaks my heart because it kind of is a good idea to have a lip balm in your line, but I wouldn't feel comfortable just like putting this to my lips like this and then walking away because it is so pigmented. You have to be careful where you place it, otherwise it will look kind of funny and then it won't last very long either. So unfortunately, this is the biggest miss ever. Like out of everything, this to me is the biggest one. My last miss is this guy. This is the Liquid Touch Concealer, and this is actually in the same shade, which is 210N, although interestingly, it is a smidge lighter than the foundation. So even though it's the same shade, I found that this was a slightly lighter product. Same 210N, but just a little bit different. And this is one that to me it's not a colossal failure, it's just an okay product. And at this point in the game, when you have so many concealers to choose from, you're really looking for the amazingly strong products that can just be very versatile and things like that. This is best used just covering spots. So just covering pimples or something down here in a place on your face that doesn't have a lot of movement. So what I mean by that is that like no scrunching or anything like that. With your eyes, I find that it breaks apart really, really easily if you have it underneath the eye. You can set it, but it will eventually still crease pretty fast. We're talking like 3 to 4 hours, so not that long. And for me, I'm 31. I do have some mild like wrinkling kind of coming in underneath my eyes. That was enough to start breaking it apart. And even in spots that I didn't really have a ton of wrinkling, it just started to break down. So when I didn't set it, it was way worse. When I did set it with powder, it was delayed, but still pretty bad. So the best way for me to use this product was when I was just covering up some like fresh acne spots coming in on my chin in the hormonal spot. So that was the best, but even still, it required a couple layers. It's about a medium coverage product, and it did dissipate faster than the foundation did. So this is something to me that it's just not strong enough to be a repurchase. I already know that. So when I think about what I'm recommending to you guys, I want to recommend a concealer to you that can be like under the eyes really well and then kind of covering acne or redness. This has definitely got a better strength covering acne. I just have concealers that are better, so this one, unfortunately, a miss. The last product in this video is going to be a hit. This is obviously something that I'm really surprised in, and I am coming around as a makeup lover because I never really liked liquid products until just this past year. I've been finding some really good ones. This is the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush, and this is actually one of her matte blushes. She does have a dewy finish, which I didn't realize. So this has gotten me so excited for the blushes that I do have my eye on trying the dewy ones also. So let me know down below, what is your favorite dewy finish shade? I would love to try it out. But this is the shade Bliss, which is a gorgeous peachy pink. So beautiful, you guys, on the skin, incredibly pigmented. Very pigmented. So just like the cloud paint where you don't need a ton, the cloud paint from Glossier is what I'm referencing. This is very similar that way. If you overdo it, it's gonna look very pigmented very fast. So start light and blend with a sponge or whatever you wanna do. You can do it with your hands, but I prefer a sponge with this. And unlike the liquid highlight that is kind of clumpy and like applies a little bit uneven, you know, kind of chunky and stuff, this one is a lot smoother. It doesn't pick up or disrupt the foundation underneath because you don't have that need to keep layering on top of itself, kind of like the liquid highlight kind of makes you do. This one, just one and done, light layer, very natural. It beautifully fades throughout the day too. I would say around 8 hours or so, it starts to get back into what looks like a normal cheek flush. It's really stunning. So even on bare skin, I found myself using this just to kind of give myself a bit of a rosy glow. Love this product, and I do think this is one to check out, especially if you love liquid blushes. What do you guys think of this Rare Beauty review? Have you tried any products from the line yourself, and what are your favorites? Do let me know all of your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more hits and misses and high-end and luxury beauty reviews so that you know what to invest in and what to skip on. Until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
But somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.